2021 is gonna be a big year for Apple. A new iPhone 13 that could be foldable, Apple AR glasses, and of course, redesigned Macs are all slated to launch sometime this year. And if 2020 taught us anything, it's that Apple is really looking to step up their game, and they are not afraid to do sort of a blitz of announcements to release a bunch of new products in a very short amount of time. And there is a lot to be excited for this year. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 9 most exciting Apple products set to launch here in 2021. And there's a little something in here for everyone to get excited about. Before we jump into some of the more exciting products, let me start with some of the more boring things. Well, not boring, but just the stuff we've been expecting to see for a while now, and stuff that's a little bit less exciting when you compare it to some of the other stuff on this list. First things first, of course, I'm talking about AirTags. At this point, there is little to be left to the imagination about AirTags. We've seen what's supposed to be its final design. We've even got new images from John Prosser that show its little, what looks like it's like pairing animation with it kind of floating around. We know that there's supposed to be accessories for it. We know kind of how it's supposed to work. For some reason, it seems like it's been on the docket to be released for multiple years now and just keeps getting pushed back for some unknown reason. But yes, it is finally supposed to launch sometime in 2021. You've got multiple credible analysts like Ming-Chi Kuo confirming that yes, 2021 is the year that AirTags will launch. This has got to be a definite one, launching hopefully sometime soon. Moving on to number 2, let's talk about AirPods. We just got the release of the new premium AirPods Max. AirPods Pro were just released about a year or so ago at this point. I think it was like October 2019, so it's been a little while, but not too long, which leaves kind of the base AirPods now in need of an upgrade and a refresh. And what we're hearing from different rumor mills and analysts is that the new standard AirPods are gonna take the design language of the AirPods Pro, though sort of. You can see this kind of side-by-side X-ray-like image that the regular AirPods should adopt a similar stem style to the AirPods Pro. It'll probably feature removable tips as well, but it's gonna be a little bit more condensed and shrunken down than what we have with AirPods Pro. So a similar design and a somewhat similar feature set, though remember with the basic AirPods, you're gonna lose things like noise cancellation and transparency modes, though sound quality, battery life, and the pairing and all that stuff should be pretty much the same. You're just gonna lose some of those more higher end Pro features. Moving on to product number 3 is where things start to get a little bit interesting because now I'm talking about Apple AR glasses. These have essentially been in development for years now. Supposedly Johnny Ive had a very strong hand in designing these glasses, and basically what they would do is harness the power of augmented reality to overlay things like Siri information, map directions, weather, maybe even FaceTime calls, a lot of the stuff that you would use on your phone and you'd look at your phone's display for on your glasses. So you'd basically be able to look in the real world and see augmented, personalized information. Now, this is really exciting. We've heard a lot of great things about this, and many who have been in the know about the project, who have kind of been on the inside, say this is supposed to really be Apple's next big thing. And the company obviously has an affinity for augmented reality. Apple has shown that they've really loved this technology for a while now. So it does make sense for Apple to sort of take the next step and really introduce and really revolutionize the AR industry by displaying what this technology could really do at its full potential with some kind of super sleek and really cool consumer product. And I don't want to dampen your expectations, but let me just make it explicitly clear that we're hearing from analysts like Ming-Chi Kuo that Apple's working on this. Bloomberg has reported as well, but we just don't have a very concrete timeline on what exactly we would expect this year. Some rumors say that Apple is going to announce these AR glasses this year in 2021, but not release them till 2022. Ming-Chi Kuo says Apple is gearing up for some kind of AR product launch this year, though that could be maybe a headset like the Oculus Quest and not be the glasses. Those would come later. We're not exactly sure when this would launch, though 2021 is definitely in the rumor cycle as a potential launch year for this new device. Of course, I can't go any further into this list without talking about the next product, and that is of course the iPhone 13. Now we're still a little ways away from this launching sometime in the fall, though there is a growing number of things we know about this phone and some more interesting stuff about what is coming next in terms of the iPhone lineup. So there's kind of two schools of thought here. On one hand, the iPhone 13 is probably going to be very similar to all the things I talked about in a previous video we will link to up here and down below, which is basically the same design language of the iPhone 12 Pro, better cameras, better processor, better battery, ProMotion display, and of course, maybe even a portless option as well. That's kind of all the stuff we can expect Apple to do with the iPhone 13 in 2021, but there's also another option. We're hearing that Apple is continuing to work on a foldable iPhone version and that there are two prototypes that are kind of in the final stages of development, sort of in the R&D labs of Apple. There's one similar to the Surface Duo from Microsoft that's sort of a dual screen approach on a hinge that opens and closes like a book, and one similar to the Z Flip from Samsung that's more of a vertical screen that opens up into a large display and closes up to something smaller. Now, what we know is that this is on track and on pace to somehow, maybe someday enter production, but we don't know if it's ready for prime time this year in 2021. If I was betting on this, I would say there's no chance this happens this year, probably more like next year at the earliest, though we are hearing increasing news that Apple is doubling down efforts to produce some kind of folding phone. So don't get your hopes up for this year, but if you know anything about Apple, you know that you should never count them out, you should never try to think for them and plan for them, and we've been fooled once or twice by a crazy one more thing. So maybe this could be the one more thing this year, maybe not. Moving a little bit more back to reality, let's talk about something definitely happening in 2021, and that is a new MacBook Pro, and more specifically, new Apple M1X or M2 chips. Look, it is no surprise that the Apple M1 chip really blew away everybody's expectations and seems to be kind of dominating the news cycle on just how powerful and efficient and just crazy good these chips are, which makes a lot of us super excited to see what the next version of this chip would be. Whether it's the M1X or the M2, this is supposed to be a more powerful, more of a professional chip geared towards photo and video pros, and has gotten me really excited to see if this is what Apple can do with the base, with the M1, the next version is going to be crazy good. We're expecting this chip to go into something like the 16-inch MacBook Pro that makes the most sense. It's kind of the daily driver for many creative professionals and should really be a really nice complement to this higher end chip. We've also heard some lingering rumors for a while now that Apple could redesign the MacBook Pro, that it would get slimmer bezels, it could possibly get Face ID as well, and putting this new chip into this laptop would be kind of a good time to refresh the looks a little bit. We got obviously a big change to the internals. It'd be nice if the externals got a change as well, though we just don't know if that's going to happen. Apple didn't do any design change to the MacBook Air or the Mac Mini or the 13-inch MacBook Pro, so I'm not going to expect anything crazy, though it wouldn't be out of left field for Apple to introduce a redesigned MacBook Pro with an Apple M2 chip inside. That is expected sometime this year as well. But speaking of redesigns, one product that should have no ifs, ands, or buts about its redesign is of course the iMac. Now, to Apple's credit, they just did refresh the iMac lineup a couple of months ago, got some new processors, a nano texture display option, all good stuff, but many regard it to be a stopgap for what is coming this year. We're supposed to see a new M1X or M2 chip-equipped iMac, which should also lead to a big redesign as well. We're expecting Apple to embrace its industrial design language, give the iMac much slimmer bezels, a whole new look, maybe even things like Face ID, and this makes us very excited for what the future of the iMac line could be. We heard some different rumors that maybe there could be a 20-inch version and 24-inch version, maybe there's a 24 and a 27. I'm curious, do you guys think Apple's just gonna make one iMac with one new design, one new chip SKU, and that's it? Or do you think we'll see kind of more of a consumer level iMac and more of a prosumer professional iMac? Let me know in the comments down below. But regardless, I'm super excited to see what this brand new iMac could look like. And yeah, it's in desperate need of a redesign. I cannot wait to see what this will look like and just how much power it is going to bring this year. The next one is one of my personal favorites on this list, and that is the Apple Watch Series 7. One of the tried and true Apple products that once you get it, you really like it, but we don't really hear a lot of news about rumors on it throughout the year because usually not much changes. Though the last time we got any sort of big redesign was with the Series 4, so 3 years later with the Series 7, it would make sense that this would be the year that we got some kind of big redesign. Whether that's just slimmer bezels, new display technology, maybe it's a round display after all, we're just not sure. Rumors are very sparse on the Series 7 right now, though we do know it'll of course get better battery life, probably a little bit of a brighter display, more health sensors in there as well. Though there is little we know about it right now, we are expecting this to launch in the fall of 2021 alongside new iPhones, and I for one am very, very excited to see what the next generation of the Apple Watch is going to be. Getting near the end here, one of the final products that we are very excited to see this year is a new iPad Pro. We're not expecting any big design changes to it. It'll probably get a new camera, it'll get a new processor, stuff like that. But the biggest change is actually going to be to the screen technology. We're hearing that Apple is looking to adopt mini LED technology for the iPad Pro, and specifically probably the first model to launch with this new mini LED tech will be the 12.9-inch Big Daddy iPad Pro. Now on the surface, this doesn't really sound all that exciting, but there are some benefits to moving from the existing tech over to mini LED. It's gonna give a lot of the benefits of OLED without some of the drawbacks and costs, so you'd get better color reproduction, you'd get deeper blacks in the dark areas of the image, better contrast, maybe a little bit brighter as well, without having to deal with all the limitations and the costs associated with putting an OLED on the current iPad's frame of 12.9 or 11 inches. Again, 12.9 version launching first, with 11-inch launching maybe at the same time or shortly thereafter. We're not sure when the 11-inch version will launch, though the 12.9 is set to launch sometime this year. And finally, a new Mac Pro is slated to launch maybe at the end of this year, if not sometime in 2022. The big deal here is that this Mac Pro is supposed to stay smaller than the current version, but also retain a lot of the same modularity and a lot of the same functionality of the current design. It's also supposed to be the most powerful Mac you can buy, so maybe this will have the M3 processor or the M3X. We're going to assume this is going to have the best of the best Apple silicon that you can get in a Mac and what you can buy, because it is supposed to be the most versatile, most powerful, and most expensive Mac on the market. So this is going to be a really exciting Mac. Super excited to see what a smaller Mac Pro could look like, while also being just as powerful, if not more powerful, than the current model we have. Though again, this is really going to depend on where Apple falls with their custom silicon. So keep a hesitant eye out for this. Maybe be kind of expecting something at the latter part of the year, but probably more likely this is going to be something we see in 2022. So there you go, 9 products expected to launch this year. And man, it seems like there is so much to talk about and so much to look forward to with this year's Apple lineup. What are you guys most excited for? Are you in the market for a new Mac and all you care about is the new Apple M2 chip? Or are you just a simple person? You like a new iPad, you like a new iPhone, or just an Apple Watch? That's all you need, one product and you're good to go. Let me know the product you are most excited for down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching the Apple Circle. I'm Robert Rosenfeld. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.